Claudia Webbe.
Thank you, Mr. Hosey. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairship, and I congratulate the member for Ipswich for securing this important debate. I disagree wholeheartedly with the member. I especially congratulate the more than 100,000 people who signed the petition calling for this debate, including the over 1,200 Leicester East residents. Whilst I wholeheartedly support the petition's call for the urgent regularisation of undocumented migrants with a safe pathway to citizenship after 5 years, I politely suggest that its use of the word amnesty is not quite accurate, because amnesty implies wrongdoing. The reality is, in nearly all cases, undocumented people are not criminals, but simply people who have fallen through the cracks of the government's callous, hostile environment policies. Last year, I tabled an early day motion calling on the government to take immediate action to ensure that leave to remain is granted to undocumented migrants, irrespective of their nationality or immigration status, so that they can access healthcare, food, and housing. This issue, of course, came to a head when it was clear that undocumented migrants would be left off the vaccination programme. It was clear to many that we were only ever going to be as safe as the most vulnerable amongst us. I pushed again early this year, including another early day motion for undocumented migrants to be granted leave to remain, so that no one is excluded from this necessary protection. Not only are such exclusionary practices morally abhorrent, but they also undermine the whole purpose of a vaccine. Whilst people and institutions discriminate, the virus does not. The only way for the vaccine to be effective is to ensure that everyone is protected from this virus. Most migrants enter the UK through legal routes. The Joint Council for the Welfare of Immigrants estimate that this to be 82%, as we've heard. Every 2.5 years, a migrant must pay thousands per person to stay. A migrant on the 10-year route will have paid $12,937 in fees alone. They will have been denied legal aid to seek legal advice about or appeal the refusal of their applications. If at any point they are unable to submit the right application at the right time and with the required fee, they will become undocumented. This is deeply unjust. There are an estimated 1 million undocumented workers who lack any entitlement to support from the state and who are therefore entirely without funds to feed, clothe and house themselves and their families. For a demographic that already faces uncommonly difficult challenges in their daily lives, the pandemic has only deepened fears over how to maintain an income, remain healthy, or even stay alive. Many undocumented people are destitute and living in the shadows, fearful of what will happen to them if they identify themselves. They cannot access healthcare, emergency shelter and food, nor report or seek protection from domestic violence, sexual assault, exploitation and other awful abuses. Following the Immigration Act of 2014 and 2016, the invisibility in which undocumented migrants are required to live has led to many of their human rights being effectively denied by criminalising the right to work and rent housing, whilst limiting access to healthcare, contravening Article 25 of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. For people forced to endure this level of instability, it is impossible to comply with any government guidance on self-isolation and social distancing. It is morally and practically imperative that the basic needs of all those who are living in our country are met. The tragic irony is that many undocumented people who are living in constant fear of the British state work in frontline services that the government have been in pains to praise during this crisis. We must ensure that all workers, regardless of their immigration status, are valued, are protected as we rebuild our economy and society. It is essential for the government to take immediate action to ensure that leave to remain is granted to everyone in the UK, irrespective of their nationality or immigration status. All migrants, regardless of status, ought to be granted rights that respect their humanity and allow them to live with dignity and fully participate in society. At a time when hate crime has more than doubled since 2013, it has never been more important for the government's demonisation of migrants to end. Together, we can build a society in which everyone is valued, no matter their country of birth. Now, more than ever, what is needed is status now. Thank you, Mr. Hosey.